Hi, this is Daniel Scranton, and I'm here talking today with my mentee, who I've been working with since January, and wanting all of you who are absorbing and receiving this video to get to know Samantha better. So let me introduce her now. This is Samantha, and I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, but I'm guessing it's Vaid.
Perfect.
We never talked about how to pronounce your last name, but that's how it's spelled.
Easy peasy, just like aid, but with a V in front, Vade.
Yes, yes. And we decided together to collaborate on this video, make it sort of an interview so that I could also get to know you and your story better, and everyone else could get to know your origin story, how you came to be this healer that you are today, working with animals, working with people, working now with Saint Germain, and I'm sure others. So let's hear it. How did it all get started for Samantha?
I come from a really funny family where we've all got really unique talents and seeing things. And I was putting my hands on people even at the age of about 6 or 7 and didn't realize what I was doing. Like somebody would be ill and they're like, can you just put my hand on their tummy, and I would be doing it and they would literally feel relieved, and I literally just thought, okay, this must be a game, I don't know. But I was already healing at that age. But when you're that age and you don't really know what's going on, you start picking things up and you don't know how to clear things. So I've always been doing it from that age. It's only when I got to in my 20s when my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer, that I decided to actually get attuned to Reiki, just get the certificate and do it. And that was the only thing that was really giving her any relief. She didn't opt for chemo. She wanted to
Mm,
have the Reiki, that's her choice. And
mm,
so that gave her so much relief from that. And then I sort of was doing it on and off, and loving it, helping clients and thinking this is just wonderful. And then I got introduced I to you first. After that, I was introduced to you decades later. And then watching videos about channeling, thinking, okay, I love this, but who do I want to work with? And then you popped up one day thinking, okay, I like this bloke. I like, maybe wanna work with him. And then we started working, and again, I've always had this thing of like hiding my gifts. It's always just coming into this lifetime, just hiding. Like I was hiding the healing, hiding even in our sessions from the day one. I knew that I wanted to speak. It was coming out, and I was just literally too shy to do it. And then I later admitted to you that, when you're not with me, I channel away, and then it just got to the point where I was hearing them saying, Samantha, you just got to do it. No one's judging
yeah.
you, just do it. And then it just unleashed something. And then it was like doing that, thinking, okay, what can I add to this? I really want to do something. Reiki was there, but it wasn't as satisfying. And that's when I was introduced to sacred geometry and the geo love, and getting the activation from Oliver. He can just sort of activate everyone's gifts, whether there's psychic abilities, healing gifts. Mine just happened to be the psychic ability. And once he did that, I mean, literally within two like healing sessions with other clients, I was just like, what is going on? It's like I literally, as I was healing, I could see inside of their body. And I'm thinking, I just like, I don't know what's going on here, but it just triggered something from past lives or whatever. Um, and I started doing that, just loving it, and then doing the channeling with you. And I think somewhere along the lines, I think once I ticked off a box saying, okay, I can channel. I
Hmm.
think we just, I wanted to concentrate more on the sacred geometry, because I found this something I've never done before. The results I've seen in such a short time, and then realizing it's the sacred geometry that actually empowers the healing to actually shift energy at such an alarming rate. It's so potent. And that's why I was really drawn to it. And then again, for some reason, I just like always had a love for animals. I think, okay, well, let me start doing animal Reiki too. And with animals, I feel that I'm doing the animal Reiki because I don't want to impose anything onto the animal. It's really the animal leads. And so you're just offering, you're holding the space, which I love. It's more gentle for animals because they already come from that place of emotions, and we're not in the head, and we don't have to kind of deal so much. So just being able to offer that space is incredible, and I love that. So,
Mm.
and I mentioned to you earlier that, since I've been really doing the sessions, the healing is taking a whole new level where it's integrating everything. And I never thought I'd get to this place where I'm doing sacred geometry, clearing chakras, seeing, and getting these channeled messages all of a sudden from Saint Germain. I've always had this love for him. And
Mm.
so he's just like, okay, great. If you're going to be in tune with me and I'm there for you, well, let's incorporate this into your healing. And this brings me to here and now. I hope I didn't waffle on too long answering that question.
Yeah, we talked about before we started the interview, we talked about the importance of just doing the thing that you say you want to do. And now that you've been stepping it up, all these changes are happening and all these opportunities and people, all these clients are coming your way. I felt the same was true for me back in 2010 when I started channeling. I was very much into the teachings of Bashar. And Bashar says, if you want something, you should put some action to it to the best of your ability. And the only action at that time that I knew to take or was willing to take was to do these in-person events in people's homes where people would show up and ask questions for a couple of hours. And I did that for a long time before it evolved into what it became next for me. But I understand now, looking back at the journey, that it was important that I had that teaching of Bashar's and I put it into practice where I said, okay, if this is something I really want to do, I can't just sit around and wait for somebody to come knocking on my door and say, will you channel for me? I actually had to say to everyone I knew, this is what I do now. I want to do it. I want to practice doing it. And one of our mutual friends, Eliza, was one of those people that I said that to. I said, look, I can channel now. If you want me to channel for you, I'll do it. And we had that kind of relationship of her sort of supporting me in channeling by being there and asking questions and believing in it and believing in the ability that I was starting to show. And so, yeah, the people show up who are going to help us. And also, the more we help ourselves, the more we say yes to this, the more the momentum gets going, and all these non-physical beings and helpers show up to support us in that work as well. And I'm sure now that you've taken this big step, and you're the first person, by the way, to ever sign up for that mentorship program with me. So that was really great for me to have somebody to work with and to see you grow. And I remember the moment you started to speak and how great that was and how good feeling that was for me. And now you're taking it into the next phase of like, okay, now how do I turn this into something that I can do for people on a regular basis and with some sort of energy exchange going on? And it's really nice to watch you blossom and grow in this way. And I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. That means a lot because you have seen me from day one and all the times like, well, Samantha, you've got to believe in yourself. I believe in you, so why don't you? And it really is that key thing. I was sitting on so many certificates for this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But what's the point? It was that disconnection of, yeah, I've got all of this talent, but I don't believe in myself one ounce, like nothing. And then there's no purpose, there's no drive, there's nothing. And again, it's like, I have to then work on myself, don't I? I have to then practice what I preach. And I have to start putting this into practice. So I was doing the sacred geometry, and I've never seen anything shift that quickly from working on my own chakras that quickly. I mean, from the space of January, no, since I started doing that, it's probably like May, and we're now October. The shift, like, it's been insane, Daniel, like moving from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Mhm.
And as not many people know, but it's I'm here for the acting as well. And then just getting a manager and getting an agent, getting my first commercial, getting clients. I mean, this has happened in the shortest amount of time. I have been in such a dark period of 30 years of nothing shifting, nothing moving. And in the space of just clearing those chakras and aligning with beliefs and just realizing that nobody can help you unless you help yourself. We can have a million cheerleaders, but until you're actually believing it yourself and feeling it and doing your own work, nothing is going to happen. I mean, you can testify to this. Even 6 weeks ago, when you're like, well, Samantha, I can help you, but you got to get up and, put yourself out there. I don't want to go on social media. Well, you got to. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to be seen. I just want to hide, and you're like, well, there's only so much I can do for you. So it's really just, you've got to believe in yourself, but it's the energy work, the clearing that I've been doing on myself. And again, I can't believe that, as I said to you in the past 6 months, how my life has just changed. I have never been this happy in all my years on earth. Like, I have never, just waking up every day, just joyful, happy, with purpose, and just constantly being in that space of everything is okay. I used to have days where, I'd be working with healers, and they would do a session, and then for 10 minutes I'd be all fantastic and happy and joyful, and then 23 hours I would just be in the most negative space, to the point where now I can be in a space of absolute joy for 23 hours and 50 minutes, and then I have a little downtime. But it's so easy to just turn things around now. I never thought I would ever get to that place. I literally thought I had a life sentence, and it was just my karma on earth to just live a life of just suffering, just here to suffer. Okay, I'm sure I'll be happy in my next life. But there was something always deep in me saying, no, that's not what you're here to do. And it was just like something out there was just never giving up on me, just keeping me connected, however hard it was to get to this space. And it's not been easy, but I'm here now. And I just, like I said, 30 years of this kind of dark cloud, not being able to get out, but finally seeing the light. It's just a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, it's interesting to also recognize when you just know the timing is right to do something, and then you follow through with it in that moment. So you may have been hemming and hawing about moving to the West Coast for a long time, but then when the timing was right and you started to pursue it and put some action behind it, you got the apartment in a nice part of LA, a part of LA that I've lived in. And I can testify to the fact that it's really nice where you are, and walking distance to the ocean. And yeah, things lined up for you, and things continue to line up for you with the people you've met there, and the new clients that you have now, and even the acting stuff, which happened a lot faster than I think either of us really expected for you. But it all follows with that desire to be of service and to allow yourself to shine that light so that other people can see it. And then once you do that, they do start to take notice, because when you've done the work on yourself and cultivated the light within so that it can shine, of course, people take notice. And it's been so nice to witness that happening for you. And I'm very happy for you.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. I got to a stage where I just refuse to live by anyone else's timelines. Everyone's saying, oh, well, if you come to LA, it's going to take years to make friends. It's going to take years to get an agent. It's going to take years to do this, da 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 da. And I'm like, no, that's going to be your reality. I'm just choosing it, not for my reality. I want this quick. You know, I'm a lady of a certain age, and I'm like, no, no, no. I've got, I need this to happen soon. And so it's just like, no, I'm just choosing. I am just choosing. The minute you choose, it's like the universe is like, great, you know, now we can just start doing things for you. But if I just sat in that mindset of, okay, it's going to take forever, then okay, universe is going to say, will take forever then, you know, but I'm just not refusing. I'm just refusing to actually just listen to anybody else and just do what feels right for me, you know?
Yeah, you have to, because if you listen to everybody else, it seems like, for example, Los Angeles and San Francisco have been these targets on, a dartboard for the news, to shine a spotlight on what's wrong with these cities. You know, there's this much going on, and there's this many people sleeping in the street and in tents and so on. And yet, I was there in March in LA, and it was beautiful. So many things were blooming because of all the rain they had, and so and one of my other clients that I'm mentoring, of course, she's living outside the U.S. right now, and she's heard those stories that the news is putting out there about what's wrong with these places. And it's sort of started to seep into her consciousness of like, well, maybe I shouldn't be moving back to the West Coast of the US because of what everybody's saying. But you get such a distorted view of reality when it's seen through someone else's lens. And it's these places where we can go or we feel drawn to go. Of course, there's aspects of it that one of the teachings of Abraham Hicks, is that every subject is really two subjects: what's wanted and what's not wanted. So anywhere you go, there's going to be things that are the way you want them to be, the things you like, and there's going to be the other things. But when you listen to the inner guidance and you say, now's the time to go, I can feel it, I don't care what they're saying on the news about this place, or what could happen here, and those sorts of things, and you did it, and now it's all coming together for you in the way that you would expect when you follow that inner guidance that's saying, yeah, I absolutely can tell that everything is in alignment for me now. And especially with you putting yourself out there more as the healer and the channeler that you are, because you know that's something that you feel so called to do that you started doing it even when you were a child and no one was asking you to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just this, it was fear, you know, it's the fear that stopped me 30 years. It was always that, I don't know where it came from. It was always better to hide than be seen, you know, just staring behind the curtains rather than always on the sidelines, as opposed to just playing, you know, playing and then creating. And I just would not do that, you know. And can you imagine what that does to a soul? It's like just I was walking around like a zombie for like 30 years. And as an actor, I was always very good at then just putting on that smile and entertaining, where you're just crying inside, just crying. And you don't want to reach out to anybody because you don't want to be a burden, or you don't want to be seen as that person that, you know, oh gosh, she's upset. You know, I was always trying to second guess what other people are thinking. Again, it's just all rubbish in your head, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, I just had to just work on it. I just had to work on that fear. Then you realizing, oh, this is just made up. This is not real. You know, then when I got to this clear space, when I was actually moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, all my girlfriends, all they were saying was like, aren't you scared? Aren't you fearful? Like, aren't you worried? I'm like, about what? Like what? No, because I'm choosing that I'm going to be looked after and I'm loved. And if I step into my purpose, everything's going to be okay and taken care of, you know? So it was just that this breath of fresh air is like, this is what it means to live. Just to live. I mean, I feel like I just breathe. I mean, I I can't even explain that dark period, Daniel. I mean, I never want to go back to it. I don't want to put energy into it, but to kind of live your life so isolated and lonely and just thinking there's whatever's in front of you in your 3D world, that is it, and you're condemned to it. It's just, I don't know how I got out of it. I mean, it took me it took just so much to get me out of that place, but once I did, and then trusting, and like you said, the minute you just start living on purpose, I just don't want to, because it sounds so corny and we all use that word, but when you've experienced something for 30 years and then suddenly just making that shift, and then a lot of the time I'm not believing what I'm seeing because it's happening at such an alarming rate. Like, as you said, the fact that I've been here 3 months and things are it's just one thing after the other. It's like every single day is like a pinch me moment. And it's overwhelming, because it's the universe says, well, yeah, if you just fly, just walk, and don't worry about anything else. I will take care of everything else. And that's what it's turning into. It really is. I just feel like even when in the situation, even when I booked my commercial and I was on set, I didn't feel anything. I don't know whether I was just so overwhelmed, or it just didn't feel as how I'd expect it to be. I thought I'd be joy and happy, but it was nothing.
Yeah.
I was just like pinching myself. And then when I got clients, again, I thought I'd be so overwhelmed, but I wasn't. It was just all surreal, really surreal. Now it's like, well, now what else can I create? I've got to a stage of just waiting for things to happen, and now thinking, oh, I'm not waiting for anything. We played that game for like 30 years. It gets you nowhere. Now we are just
Yeah.
gonna, if something's not moving, okay, so what can I create now? What can I create? What can I just do in this moment to keep moving forward? A million years I would never think about even doing this. You even suggested it, and it just like sends shivers down my spine when you suggest to do anything on social media. It's like, no, Daniel, you're digging my heels in. I'm having no part of this. And then once you do it, it's like, oh, what was so bad? What was so
Yeah.
bad? Nothing. It's like, now I want more and more. What else can we do? What else can we do?
I know exactly what you mean. I avoided the camera for the first 9 years of my channeling, or 8.5, I guess, because in March of 2019, that's when I started saying, okay, I need to start making videos where I'm on camera and showing up and letting people get to know me. And now you're doing that too. And I'm following you, of course, on Instagram, and I see the videos as they come up, and I'm always happy to see that. And the fact that you're taking that next step forward that you need to take, and it's nice to see how things are unfolding. And I think all the people who are watching this now are going to be excited too, to see where you go next and to enjoy following your journey as I am. So we'll all stay tuned for more of Samantha.
Oh, Daniel, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this with me today. I really, really appreciate it. Just thank you for your support as well over the last sort of year. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a joy for me.
Cheers. Thank you, Daniel. Bye.